I've wanted to play Kerbal Space Program again for a while now. It was the hope that I'd be playing KSP2, but it looks like we'll be waiting a while for that. So welcome to Kerbal Space Program. The first thing to do is accept some contracts and gather as much science as possible from the Space Center. You can get a fair bit just from running around, but that's boring, so moving on. I have a mod installed which adds sounding rockets. A full mod list can be found below. Sounding rockets mean I can start out with unmanned missions and avoid putting my Kerbals at risk. As I'm playing on hard, Kerbal deaths will be permanent. Sounding rockets are also much cheaper and come with extra experiments for early launches. This is my first, Firework 1, because that's pretty much all it is. Let's see what happened. 3, 2, 1. Oh god. About as you'd expect for a literal firework. I did this again with different experiments before upgrading to a new innovative design. 2 fireworks strapped together. That went okay. On the second try. It got a decent bit of altitude, unfortunately not enough for new science. However, I'm still inclined to call it a success. Uh-oh. Don't roll. Okay. Obviously that landing was all skill. Of course, this was followed by more rockets, and more science, and more rockets, and more science, and at least one accidental ballistic missile test, until I got bored of that and decided to make a plane. For clarity, this was a terrible idea. As shown by my first completely silly design, I don't really know how to build planes. Plus the whole point of using sounding rockets was to keep my Kerbals safe. Obviously, I forgot that, so here we are, Sci-Plane 1, ready for takeoff. Yeah. This was unexpected. It flies well enough, but is not the most stable of aircraft. I was at least able to reach the mountains to the west before things went really wrong. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Thankfully, I was able to regain control and spare Jebediah a grisly fate on the rocks below. Circling out over the ocean, I was able to collect more science, and all that was left was to land and bask in the glory of scientific achievement. The Space Center was now over the horizon, but it was only a short flight back to base. At this point, I'm sure I would have liked to explain the mechanics of landing, to discuss feathering the throttle and pitch to keep your speed just above the point of stalling, and how landing is the most dangerous part of flying. Maybe I should have been focused on the actual flying itself. Luckily, Danger Man Jeb is indestructible. Back to sounding rockets. It was my hope that this design of, wait for it, 3 fireworks on top of each other, with another 3 around the outside, would reach space and complete a contract for me. I even put a slight angle on the winglets to induce a spin and help with stability. Spinning its way into the morning sky, up to an altitude of 36 kilometers. Firework 5 did well, but not nearly well enough. To reach space, I would need a different approach, a truly orbital class rocket. I was close to the capability, but lacked payload fairings, which are crucial for the aesthetic. Not the most important aspect of rocketry, I know, but I like them. So, it was time for more questionable decisions. Another mod I have installed, or possibly the same one, adds this cool little rover. I'm not sure it's the intended purpose, but it allowed me to gather more science from around the Space Center. However, I really wish I'd checked the unlocked cost for all these parts. It was only when Bill and Bob got back from their unexpectedly expensive jaunt about the neighborhood that I realized a stale donut, 2 used napkins and a Bee Gees cassette tape were the entire remaining budget. If the launch of Orbiter 1 failed, the space program would be bankrupt. No pressure then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Still don't have SAS control. Ditch the fairings. I think we're sort of in orbit. Hang on. Though I had forgotten to put any experiments on the spacecraft, and the orbit was nowhere near symmetrical, it was an orbit, and my space program was saved from bankruptcy. For now.